steam engine, traction engine, 1898. A Burrell steam engine.
A wide varied selection of tractors, all pretty much a blue Nuffield, and that's what you see there. A 384 is slightly different pin work on it, but of course essentially in below is just a Nuffield design. A 272, so that's two-wheel drive and 72 horsepower, synchromesh gearbox again. Robert Wardock himself at Darnick is arguably one of the biggest owners and collectors of Nuffield and Leyland tractors in the UK, certainly in Scotland, and it's great to have him as a fellow club member of his very extensive collection, and there's a huge thank you to Robert for making that special effort. So, a 472 that he himself is driving, so we're four-wheel drive, and look at the back wheels, they're very heavy, and they're called power-assisted variable track wheels. Gives a tremendous weight on the back end and the tremendous traction. Of course, Nuffields and Leylands were famed for their traction, far superior to a Ford or a Ferguson in that department. Their traction was legendary, and with those PAVT rear centres and the four-wheel drive, an unbeatable combination. Jimmy brings in a 465. Mrs. Pope's at Shidlaw had this tractor when it was new. It originally had wide wheels in the back and a Duncan cab. Some of you might know the driver, Frank Armstrong. And that tractor was used at Shidlaw for a number of years. Then Kelsa Pea Growers owned it, and it was on the pea trailers and then on the fuel bowser, and it ended. Nuffield used their own BMC engine. Quite a lot of other makes, if they wanted a smaller three-cylinder engine, they used the Perkins engine, same as what was in the 135 and things like that. It finds absolutely nothing, of course, now with all the big tractors that we have, but 60 horsepower in its day was a big tractor. The Winsome cab, it kept the rain off your head, but that was about all. And there's many of us a bit dull of hearing caused by those Winsome cabs, including myself. But 10-speed sailed 60 horsepower as the 460, but now with 10 speeds. They're all a bit mixed up, so I'm sort of hanging it backwards and forwards. The first Nuffields after the petrol paraffins had a Perkins P4 engine, and then they didn't have their own engine, BMC developed engine at that time, so they used the Perkins P4, the CKS 811. Many of you will remember, again, the late great Jimmy Law, who was an upper man, and that was his tractor, CKS 811, the Bull Law. CSH, Berwickshire registration, D 1965 if I'm not mistaken, and that's as genuine a tractor as you would see, just unpainted. So there we are, that's the special parade of Leylands and Nuffields, and we're moving on for some old-timers here. Essentially these machines were entered into the implement section during this tractor. Now you'll see them introduce a change on the move splitter gear, and it was called multi-power. It's called Bowery Overdrive, and you could get a lot of speed up. But it was an advance in some ways back there. Always go and visit if you get the chance to see how they make the honey and see the bees operating, and to see their wonderful collection of crawler tractors. And an FT3, the Fowler FT3 has their own three-cylinder engine, and you find that. slightly taller wheel equipment on it. And famous Alistair Lindsay with his latest purchase and his Perkins V3 engine grey Fargate belonging to the late Castor Elephant and now proudly owned by Alistair. David Brown Crop Master with the distinctive shroud round the back of the bonnet there, twin seats and the controls on the right hand side of the driving position. A grey Fergie petrol with the heat shield around the manifold. You can always tell that with a petrol version. Now, Sandy Cow is always a great cap for bringing all sorts of funny things. He gets these out of the bushes and out of goodness knows where. And Sandy, who runs the dogs at Jeddah, found this Polaris in a horrible condition. Seas solid, covered in moss, grass, goodness knows all what. And the skill of the mechanic gets it back going again. The Polaris tractor from Russia, all the way from Russia. That's an air-cooled engine.